Okay guys, today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how I dermaplane. So I feel like there's not enough training SD content on YouTube, and a lot of people kind of gatekeep, especially when it comes to dermaplaning. So I'm going to do my best to show you guys how I do it. Okay, I'm going to start with a double cleanse. You always want to cleanse the skin before you do any treatment, especially if it includes a dermaplane. Never listen to anybody who thinks you can just dermaplane by itself without doing any proper cleansing or anything like that, because that will just cause a lot of irritation to the skin. Okay, I just finished your cleanse. I put my gloves on. You always want to have gloves when you dermaplane. There is different ways you can do dermaplaning dry. Personally, I don't like doing that. I think it causes way too much irritation, and if you're a beginner, I think it can almost kind of pull on the blade and you're more likely to nick or cut your client. So I personally always like using some type of product to soften the skin and almost act as a barrier, such as almost like a shaving cream. So some people like to use oils. Personally, I like to use a gel consistency, and I just spread it in the area that I'm going to start working in. Personally, I like to start in the forehead, but you can really start anywhere you like. So I'm going to have one 4x4 set to the side that I'm going to wipe all the dead skin and hair on. And then I'm going to have a separate clean 4x4 that I'm going to fold up kind of just like this and use it to hold the skin taut without slipping, since this is a little wet with the gel. Personally, I like to use a 10R blade because the end is rounded, so you're less likely to have any accidents of poking somebody. The other ones typically have a sharper end, and I don't really like that. So I like to smooth any hair out of the way that you don't want to cut, so using the gel almost as like a little hair gel, you're going to just smooth those out of the way. In the forehead, the hair growth is either going to go this way or to the side. So I'm going to start holding the skin taut, and personally I prefer to dermaplane towards myself. I believe it gives more control and you're less likely to nick somebody. So just like this at a 45-degree angle. You don't want to do a 90-degree angle obviously, and you don't want to do in between that. You want a good 40-degree angle so you'll get a really nice, clean, and close cut. And you're just gonna go like that, and you can start to see it will pick up the gel and it'll clump together any hair and dead skin, so it's easier to pick up. And then you'll just wipe your blade clean on the 4x4. And her hair kind of grows a little bit to the side. In the middle it kind of grows up like this, and over here it grows to the side. So you can kind of switch. I'm left-handed, so this might look a little funny, and just kind of go just like that. Every single client's hair growth will be slightly different, and just be careful when you get close to their hairline, because obviously you don't want to take too much off. Also being super cautious around the eyebrow as to not take too much off. Now I'm just going to apply more gel, and the gel will dry in, so just reapply as you need, be as generous as you need. And like I said, I like to use this gel. It has nothing bad in it, it's just very basic, just to kind of push the hairs out of the way so we're not cutting anything we don't want to on accident. Now for her, I am probably going to go about right here, kind of right where the ear is, just because I know she likes this taken off. Again, every client's hair will grow really different, but specifically in this area, I always go upwards. Now, once we move into this area, I'll show you guys the different patterns that I do, but I always start right here because I think it's the easiest and it takes off the most hair and it gets you a little comfortable with the shape of their face, because every client is so different in how their jaw is, you know, any smile lines, anything like that. Again, just holding the skin nice and taut. And sometimes too, if you want to just give yourself a couple little practice movements to make yourself comfortable, just like that. That's a nice little beginner tip. One other tip is never ever hesitate. If you're going to commit, fully commit. If you hesitate, that's when you're more likely to nick somebody. Also, when I'm holding the skin taut and I'm moving back and forth. I'm not picking up the blade until I'm ready to move upwards or clean the blade. Now, if you want to get in this little area by the ear, hold the skin taut like that. And just very slowly. Now, as you can see, her skin soaked up a lot of that gel. So don't be shy to put some more. Reapply as much as you need, as often as you need. Now moving to the inner cheek, and again, just applying more gel. Okay, now I'm moving to the inner part of her cheek, and I'm going at almost a slightly diagonal angle, just because of the way her hair is growing. Again, I always like to go towards myself. I feel like it just gives me the most control. And again, once you see that buildup on the blade, it's time to wipe it. And then as I move to the innermost part of the cheek, heading towards the nose, I go again at a even more diagonal, almost fully sideways angle. Still pulling the skin taut. And especially as a beginner, only get as close to the orbital bone as you feel comfortable. And sometimes if I notice there's still a little hair growth in slightly different directions, I'll step to this side. So again, it's still coming towards me. And I'll do this type of motion. Okay, as we get down to the chin and jawline area, for your safest bet, you most likely want to come this way. So you're pulling away from the chin and you're standing in this side, pulling the blade towards you. This is really easy for beginners to have good control without feeling the pressure of going this way and possibly nicking where their jawbone is. Now once I've come this way on the jawline, I'm going to move up a little bit and start going in an upwards motion. Still always pulling the skin taut. And you'll work in just a lot smaller sections when you get to this area. And obviously here you'll start to come up on the lip, and you'll still just go at a diagonal angle. One side is always going to be easier based on your dominant hand. Always when you're doing the lip, pull the skin super taut. The most dangerous areas that you're most likely to nick is always the chin and the lip. Okay, so I went ahead and dermaplaned this side of her face. Little tip, if there's any inflamed acne, just avoid that area and just go right around it. And now I've done pretty much both sides of the face, all the way up to right around the lip. So I even came up on these sides as much as I could. And then so now I'm going to just put a little bit of gel on the top and bottom lip right here. And once I've finished up with the corners, I'm going to ask her to tuck her lips in for me. This part is really tricky. If you're a beginner, you can always just skip doing the lip, but this is how I do it. I don't really have a rhyme or reason, so I'm just going to show you exactly the motions that I do. When I come right here, holding the skin as taut as possible in very slow movements. Now that we are done, this is everything we got off her skin. Every client will vary just a little bit. And now that we're done, we're going to continue on with regular treatment or facial protocol. So always start with a double cleanse, then dermaplane, and then continue whether you're going to do a hydrofacial, an acne no peel, bio-repeel, whatever that may be. And that's pretty much it. Always finish off with moisturizer and sunscreen to hydrate and calm the skin. And always advise your client not to exfoliate after this treatment for at least 3 to 5 days, since this already is such a deep exfoliation. I did my best to show you guys how I dermaplane. I know there's not a lot of educational content out there, mostly just courses that you have to pay for. So hopefully this helps some of you baby Esties out there, or, you know, advanced Esties looking to just learn new techniques. But thank you guys so much for watching.